What's up, everybody, and welcome to What's Up, Bree. This is season 2, episode 9, and this is the priority episode. As you guys can see, we are 4 days away from Valentine's Day, so I wanted to talk about everything priority and love. So you guys know I had to bring Miss Priority herself in the building. Go ahead and let the people know who you are.
Yes, so I'm here, Steph Crosley. Super excited to be here. And yeah, that's all I have. I'm Steph Crosley, and I really hate introduce myself. I
Why?
don't know. I've always had. I don't know. I really don't know. I just always just never like talking about myself. But I'm here. And while we're interviewing, we're talking. Let me just say while we're having this conversation. Um, People will get to know a little bit more about me. We'll just say that.
If you follow her on social media, you know she's always dropping gems day after day about love, life, priorities, her brand. So it's definitely going to be a topic that you guys are going to enjoy.
Yes.
Yes. So just let people know who don't know, even though you are a household name in Milwaukee, like about the priority movement. Like what made you start priority?
Yes. On my way here, I knew this question was going to come about. And I'm like, let me find another way to share this story. I did not come up with another way, but priority came about. I was in a low point in my, I wouldn't even say low point in my life. I was just unmotivated. I was just drained. And I started, I blogged because I love to write. I love to get my feelings and thoughts on paper if I'm not talking about it. And the title of the blog was Priority. And I just went from there and I declared year 32 was going to be my selfish year. And I wasn't going to feel bad about it because I was making myself a priority. And during that time, I'm just like, I'm no good to anyone if I'm sitting here drained. And, if I don't have anything to give, I'm nothing. So,
Right. Okay. Is it like weird for you to like see everybody? Because it's like in your shirts and your gear, like
yeah,
your
it's not
name.
weird. It's exciting. It's like, yes, y'all are part of the movement, And I was telling some students earlier, I was at Hamilton, and I was telling them, when the priority movement first came about, how it really was bringing people together. Like people would see other people in like at restaurants or at grocery stores, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, you have on priority. Let's take a picture.
Yeah.
Oh my God, can I hug you?" Like it's so much deeper than a clothing brand. So when I see it, when I see other people in it, it really just makes me happy for them that one, they're a part of the movement, and two, there's a reason they're a part of the movement. I feel like people aren't wearing priority just because it's like it's super. I mean, I'm a minimalist, so it's straight to the point.
Right.
It's nothing too much, and I don't feel like that's like. I feel like they wear it because of what the meaning, and for me, that just means a lot.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
all about impact.
I was gonna say I definitely followed the movement. I watched it from beginning to end. I got some of the original crew necks that you came out with, and I still rock them. One of them got bleach on it, and I still put it on. I do not care. And I feel like it is more so about the meaning of it because you do have to make yourself a priority, especially in these days and times. It's weird out here. We all know that people have different type of personalities. Not everybody is raised the same. So it's like you may run across people to where they're trying to take advantage of you or they're trying to use you or suck you dry.
That's the
And
reality.
they definitely will. So it's like when you make yourself a priority, it's like, okay, regardless of what somebody else does, I know I'm first.
Yeah.
So don't even matter what you got going on. So you definitely are doing the damn thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I need you to give people flowers when they're supposed to give due.
Thank you.
Because Miss Queen of Love is what I'm gonna call you. So I know you probably been asked this question a million times too. What does love like mean for you wholeheartedly?
Ooh, what does? Hold on, I'm gonna go live real quick on my Instagram.
Yes, ma'am.
If that's okay with y'all.
Of course.
We're just gonna go live too. I didn't realize I had the phone thing by my phone. So sorry y'all for all y'all watching. I know they didn't anticipate us taking this
That
break.
will be okay. Everybody taps in every week. We giving y'all raw and uncut. So
Oh my God.
You can tune in
cut
to
it
What's
out.
Up Bree every Thursday at 7 p.m.
every
Okay with the
Thursday.
drop. Okay, so what was your question?
What does love mean to you wholeheartedly?
Love is, man, I love love. I think that it's such when I think of love, I just think of just that unconditional acceptance of yourself because it starts with you. Of course, we have the opportunity to love other people, to bring that forth. But I think it really starts with you, and it comes from just that unconditional, just accepting of who you are, and understanding you're not perfect, but being okay with that, and just embracing everything you have, and giving yourself room to make mistakes and grow. Like, oh, I can go. I'm just thinking about it, and I just think love is such a powerful thing because it's so positive.
It is,
and it brings people together. And even when you're in a situation um and things aren't going your way, for me personally, I always think, not always, because I told you I'm not perfect, but I do try to give myself time to reflect on situations, and I try to come from a place of love. And when I do that, it's usually always more positive than if I would have just reacted off of emotion or logic. And so love is pretty much, it's my foundation. Absolutely love it.
Okay. And I feel the same exact way too. I feel like a lot of people look at love in different ways and angles. And I feel like sometimes that's what ruins people's ideas of it. Because one thing that I'm starting to grow into and learn as a person is love does not always last. And I think that's the biggest
No,
thing.
I wouldn't say it doesn't always last. I'll say there's different levels of love. And I think, like, you can really have so much love for a person, and you guys can go through stuff, and you go your separate ways. You love them from a distance, so it's not love at the highest capacity anymore, but it's more so like, I have love for you, I'm just no longer in love with you.
Right.
And I think it's different levels. And then going back to what you said, just like we all have our own definitions of love, because we're all, like, different seeds have been planted in us based on our upbringing, based on just different. Just, you go back to your childhood and you think of your relationship with your parents, you think of your relationship with just your caretakers and people who surrounded you, whether they showed you, and what kind of love they showed you, whether it was the love that meant, like, survival, and you were born off survival and not necessarily love, but you took that as love, and now you're trying to love people like that, like. And so that's why, and we all have our own different meanings and ideas of love, and that's why I feel like as people we just clash.
Yeah.
We really just clash. Like, what could be so beautiful ends up being an ugly story,
a hot mess. So because people kind of love differently, or they were raised on love differently, when it comes to love, is it okay to compromise?
Absolutely. I think, and one thing I will say just in general about people is, we all come from different backgrounds. We all have different perspectives because of that. When we come together as one, and you'll know when you're with the right person, because that person does come and fill a void, and you come and fill a void. And then, so when you guys are filling voids, you find a balance. You're both bringing something different to each other, so you have to learn how to work with each other. So with that does come compromise. So yeah, I think you do learn to compromise, because you can't. I think to not compromise means to stay in a space where you're like, it's either my way or the highway. And that's a selfish way of thinking, especially when you're trying to do it with someone else. And a lot of people are not willing to compromise, and I think that has been the issue.
Yes, because I feel like a lot of people, they say that they'll compromise, like, oh, okay, I can kind of work with you, or maybe we're not agreeing on something. But then when it comes down to that moment, it's like, well, that's not me, or that's not how I move, or I don't want to do that. So they don't. And then it's just kind of like, okay, I thought we agreed that this is what we were going to do. So why is it going a different type of way? So when it comes to compromises, because I know you made a post the other day and you were saying, like, it kind of disheartened you to see women kind of just with the pick me type of statuses and posts.
I've been there, y'all. So I'm not trying to throw nobody under the bus, because we've all done it.
Yes.
And then, but when you see it so much, you're like, damn, this is how I look. Like this, like, is this the picture I'm painting? And then especially during this time where it's Valentine's Day weekend, or Valentine's weekend, and we see the posts on Instagram. We want the flowers, and we want the date nights, and we want someone to take us out and court us, and we want all this because we see it. And then when we don't have it, we most cases feel unworthy. And so we're like, okay, if you go on Instagram or Facebook, you just scroll and you see women specifically. We're catering to men.
Yes.
Like we want to be chosen. And I just think that's just something that we have to take a break from. I think that because we put ourselves out there so much as women, that makes men more dominant and that makes them feel as though all I gotta,
Listen.
all I gotta do is a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And
she gonna be okay with
it. You know what I'm saying? And that sucks. That really does suck. And really quickly about compromise, I do want to say when it does come to relationships, like you have your key things that you're like not willing to budge on. Like that's 100%. Like religion, children, like financial decisions, like all that, like but other things you can work towards. But those things you like, if you're stern on that and that person is like the complete opposite, trying to make that mesh, well, maybe horrible. But back to Instagram and Facebook, girl. Women, I just want to hug us all because you don't want to get it so cliche. Like, I don't need a man. That's why I had to, post a disclaimer. Like, I love men. I think there's power in a two house. I mean, shout out to the LGBTQ too.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? I think it's power when there's two people in a household, 100%. It's I've been in a position where, my significant other loved the hell out of me. And, they did cater to me. So I know the power in that. But I also know that it's totally okay to be single and love the hell out of yourself. Like, it's not the end all be all. Your person will come. I promise you that. Because, life is life. Your person will come.
And I think that's one of the things, too, I think ladies need to realize. I know probably about maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I started taking myself out on dates. And it used to be so weird because people used to see me on social media like, you by yourself? And I'm like, yeah, like, what's wrong with that? And they were like, oh, I just didn't know. And of course, I've been stared at in restaurants by other couples or waiters like nobody else is coming. Or if I walk in, or is it a table for two? And I'm like, no, it's just me. And it's like, I felt good about it because it's like if I meet a man and I'm requesting or I'm requiring something, this is why. Because regardless if you're here or not, it's going to happen. It's going to get done. You either will or you won't. And even if I'm in a relationship, sometimes if I want to go see a movie and my significant other is like, I don't really want to go see that, guess who's going to the movies by themselves?
Right. And that's okay. Like normalize catering to yourself. Like it's I promise you, it's not bad. It's not a horrible thing. And I don't want to be a man eater, none of that. Because I do love men, and I'll continue to say that. But as women, we have to do better. We have to want more, because I think a lot of times we end up settling because we don't know how to live in our single, accept our single, embrace our single. And that's why so many people are still freaking single.
Yes.
Because you haven't learned how to be single.
Or getting in relationships and it's literally like this. And it's like, okay, so I was just single. I thought I met the love of my life, or I thought this was it. And now I'm back single. Yeah. And I've definitely, like, thinking about over the past couple of years, I've definitely been in situations to where it's like, okay, it's not I'm dating the same person over and over again, but I feel like I'm having the same experiences. It's like a fiery love in the beginning, and then it just like goes.
Where do you think that stemmed from?
Honestly, I don't think I was ready to even be in a relationship the past couple of years. Like dating people, now that I'm kind of doing my own thing right now, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to be two. I was still kind of living and moving as if I was one. And that's something that I had to kind of realize, because it's like, and then plus my trust is completely shot. And it's like, I can honestly and openly say that and not be ashamed of it and know that I'm working towards it. But it's like men sometimes do like really fucked up stuff. And it's like, dude, like what? Why me? Like, why you couldn't do this to somebody else? Why you doing this to me?
You weren't the first person. I listen, I promise you weren't the first person that did it to. That's the crazy part.
And I guess that's what I'm confused about, because it's like, I think me as a friend, of course I could be wrong. I'm pretty straightforward and I'm pretty understanding. I feel like things can be worked through, discussed, and talked about. So it's like, I think, and I say this all the time on social media, my biggest pet peeve is when my choice is taken away from me.
Oh,
if
absolutely.
you tell me something and you're honest with me about it and I'm choosing to accept this, that's me. But when you don't tell me and I find out on the back end,
and I find out on social media, or if I just find out, like, I've been recently was in that situation. You know what I'm saying? I found out some something that was a big thing on social media, and I had no idea. And like, you know, in one breath, like, you know, the situation could have been like okay, but it's like I was blindsided. And like you said, you took that choice from me, because now I'm in a position where, you know, we in deep.
Yep.
You know, and now, but in the same breath, like I still could have walked away. And had I, like, if I could go back, I would have walked away. You know what I'm saying? Okay. It's one of those situations, but I'm 100% with you. Like, tell me, give me my options. It's some women who will allow certain things. There's some women who won't. And it's all about, like, you know, what you can handle. You don't know what I've been through and what I can handle and what will make me snap. So don't take that decision from me.
Listen, and I think that's exactly how I feel too. Because, for example, I was in a situation a couple years ago to where a child was, and a lot of people always say like everything is a lie, and it's like I don't think men or even people in general, because of course my friends are like, oh, you too hard on somebody, or you need to open up a little bit more. You need to give people a chance. And it's like, I hear what you're saying, but until you experience something being like put publicly, or everybody around you knows but you, and you're the last person to find out, I don't think people understand how that can scar you, because it's like, okay, I've trusted you, or even when something, because for example, that situation, it was brought to my attention, but not fully. Somebody was like, I think this is what's going on. So I talked to the person about it, like, hey, you know, somebody said that a child was posted, you know anything about it? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay. And then months down later, it's like, oh, this your baby. Like, how you gonna act like you don't know what's going on? So after that, I was just like, you know what? Can you really fully trust people to be honest enough with you?
You can trust people to be exactly who they are. Okay, and take it how you want it. Like, people, and that's the one thing with us. People will show us exactly who we are, who they are, and we decide what we choose to believe, and that's where we fuck up. But trust that people are going to always show you who they are. Because I guarantee you, if you look back in the situation you were in, the signs were there.
Oh, listen, I analyzed everything. I'm like, so when I went through your phone and I saw this.
See, I never been through a phone. Oh, I never want to.
You had
no, honey, no. I refuse. No.
Bless your heart.
Listen, that's one. Listen, no. No.
I've definitely.
You're going to find something. Even if it's nothing, you're going to find something, because you went with the intention to find something.
Curiosity killed the cat for sure. A cat does not have 9 lives when it comes to that type of situation. Ooh. So yeah, I played that situation back in my head, I think for like a good year, because it was like, okay, so when I went through your phone and saw this, why didn't I kind of dig a little bit deeper? Or when my friend told me this, why didn't I just kind of pull myself out of the situation until like the smoke cleared, or until everything's a little bit clarified? So I think that's another thing too, because now I'm like like I second guess myself a lot when it comes to relationships. It's always I want to believe you, but what if this, that, and the third?
I'm about to go against the grain here. For the men out there, they're gonna hate me for this one, but y'all about the same age group, I'm assuming. All right, I'm seasoned, so I've been in that age group, and we ain't shit.
We know
between 28 and like 37.
Damn. Damn.
And I say 37 because it was kind of like some niggas is like just really pushing it to be like they still trying to get what they can until it's too late, and then want to kind of come to terms with, all right, I'm ready to settle down. And I say that because there's women about y'all age who actually give me rhythm, and I'm like, it's like 15 years. Like I can't do that. But it's like they trying to actually skip over your age group to see who else is not about some games, who ain't on fuck shit.
And that's the reality though. Like I feel like, you know, what's the ratio to women to men?
Like 9 to 1 or something like that.
And that's horrible. And I think that's a part of me. That's why I decided, like, you know, let me get, and this happened 6 years ago for me too, where I just like, let me embrace my singleness. I'm okay with it. And I was single for a very long time, 6 years, like 5 or 6 years I was single, and you know, I was okay with that. And I was in the clubs that's when I was hosting every night.
Oh yeah, it used to be lit. Those were the days.
And I was in the club till 2, went home, went to sleep. I didn't care about going home to anybody. Got up at 5 a.m. to get to work. Like like my life gonna continue whether or not I have a significant other or not. You know, life does go on. Unfortunately, like avoiding the ain't shit people is unrealistic. I mean, you have to experience 1 or 2, 3 or 4, 5 or 6 before, you know, that's a part of life, unfortunately. I just refuse to settle, like even with your situation though, like going back and analyzing one thing. And that's why I don't hold, you know, the other person, I don't hold them accountable to the top extent. I'm to blame for it too. Because when I go back and I start to like, damn, why did I stay? Why didn't I, you know, damn, this happened and then this happened. You see, it's a freaking cycle.
Yeah.
They were there. The red flag waving left, right.
But that's because y'all good people.
Yeah, and
you
so
good,
but why?
You have a good heart.
Why though? But why? But even having a good heart does not mean I'm allowed to be walked on.
No.
Why do I allow and I question, like, I don't question myself like, oh, you're a horrible person, but it makes me reflect like, why did I allow this?
Because you'll be a bitter person, always thinking the worst of somebody every single time. You still want to give people an opportunity to actually show their, like you said, they're going to be who they are. You want to give them an opportunity to show who they are. So don't second guess the fact that you didn't. You just still were giving them the benefit of the doubt.
So when it comes to that, though, because of course, you know, all the people always say, well, people can change. Do you feel like if somebody cheats or maybe is very dishonest, is that reconcilable?
Again, we've seen publicly, some people stay and some people get it right eventually. It's all about how much you can handle, how much you're willing to work through with that person. I do think people change. I do think people can change for the good and for the bad, in all honesty. But they have to want that. And if they're not showing, like, it's all about showing and proving. Like once you got caught doing X, Y, and Z, especially like, you know, you're dishonest, you're cheating, you're doing, you know, just like either you accept that person for who they are, knowing that they may do what they
might happen again.
It might happen again, but you have to determine if that's something you're going to accept or if that's something you're going to walk away from. But I do think it's a lot of that comes from like a person. I don't know if I can personally get over it because I think that, you know, once it's there, once a person showed you their hand, in the back of my mind, it's always going to be like, that's the card. Those are the cards you playing. So I know I can't handle it.
Okay.
Because of who you are.
I was gonna say over the years I've definitely taken people back after like infidelity or situations, and it was just like
that trust.
We gonna keep arguing, we gonna keep going back and forth because
over little stuff too,
and it will be the littlest thing. And we arguing about what we gonna eat tonight, and it turned into, well, you did this and the third. And they're like, wait a minute,
and it becomes unhealthy, and when it becomes unhealthy, that's when you have to let it go. When it's unhealthy every single day, every other day, like, you know what I'm saying, like, damn, like this is stressful. I still got to get up and, you know,
deal with other people
and work and run a business and run several businesses and interact with people and host in front of all these people. I can't afford this type of energy. You know what I'm saying? So you have to determine what matters to you the most at that point.
And what does forgiveness look like to you? And not even necessarily infidelity, just forgiveness in general.
Yeah, forgiveness in all capacities. Like even I think of forgiveness when it comes to my parents. I still pray for forgiveness or that I'm able to forgive them. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's an ongoing process, you know. I think forgiveness is about acknowledging the situation for what it is, and understanding your role or understanding the role that has transpired, and taking a lesson from it. You know, I think that, you know, a lot of us can't forgive because we're still stuck in that moment that we were in when the mistrust happened, you know, and until we're able to get over that feeling, until we're able to get over the bitterness, the hurt, the anger, we'll still be in a position to where we need to forgive. Yeah. So I think just a part of like accepting the situation for what it is. Stop saying shoulda, woulda, coulda. It is what it is. Life goes on. Forgive people. For me, it's been easy because I've learned over time. It hasn't always been easy, but I've learned not to take things personal, and I think that has helped me with forgiveness. I think that we're all fighting battles. Even you know, you can be living in the same house with another individual, and you still don't even understand the battles they're fighting. So I think that when you really sit and think about it, knowing we're all fighting battles, we're all going through things that we don't talk about. It's hard to it's hard to, I guess, I don't want to, I never just say, like, I take accountability, like, okay, how did I contribute to this?
Mm-hmm.
But then too, like, other stuff was going on. So I'm not going to take your actions and say, like, you meant to do this.
Like
and
you purposely did this to me.
you meant to hurt me. You meant to stump me while I was down. I don't think that, because love was once there.
Mm-hmm. And I think with another thing with forgiveness too that I've noticed, and this isn't necessarily with relationships, more so friendships, I would say, people will get upset when you forgive them, but you choose to distance yourself. And I think a lot of people attach forgiveness with staying around. And it's like, I wish people would understand that I can
Mhm.
forgive you, but not deal with you anymore. And
That's
it
fair.
doesn't mean that I'm still upset with you. It doesn't mean that there's friction or I hate you, or anytime somebody asks me about you, I'm gonna down talk you or tear you down. Wholeheartedly forgive you,
Mhm.
but I just cannot deal with you.
I let go.
Yeah, I moved on. Like,
I accept it for what it is. You showed me who you are. You showed me your hand, and I didn't want to play it.
yep.
I didn't want to play, and I have as an individual, we have every right to remove ourselves from the table and not feel bad about it.
Mhm. And I feel like a lot of people should respect that. Like, if you do something to somebody and they're like, okay, I forgive you. Because a lot of people with me, I don't know how other people operate. And this could be a question for you as well. Are you like friends with exes, or are you more so one of those people that's like, okay, we done, so see
I'm
you around?
friends. No, I'm friends with my exes. We're cool. Like again, I accepted those situations for what they are. Now granted, we weren't friends right off the bat. Like,
Right.
oh, we broke up. Okay, we friends now. No, but you don't, like, whoever they're with right now don't have to question our relationship. Um, because I've always said, like, exes make for some of the best friends. You got to understand, when you're in a relationship with someone, you really go through it.
Mhm.
Like, just imagine all the things you went through with your ex that you didn't even tell your best friends about. You know
True.
what I'm saying? Like, it's like you've seen me in my most vulnerable times. So it's always like a certain level of respect there, and it'll always be a certain level of love. Now, I don't he can talk to my exes every single day,
Mhm.
but it's all love. It will always be love. Like, I'm naturally a lover, and I'll always choose, like, love regardless.
See, I got some growing up to do.
And everybody is different. Everybody is
I was
different.
gonna say, yeah, like my
Everybody is
like
different.
certain exes, I do like we follow each other on social media. We may like each other pictures or inbox each other, whatever. Like, oh
I'm
hey,
definitely inviting mine to my wedding.
like y'all gonna see this. But there's other ones I just feel like I don't like when people bring up bad stuff that we went through. So I think that's kind of why I try to stay away from it, because it's like I've been in situations to where I've tried to kind of like be cool, and it's always, well, you da, 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 or remember when it's like, I don't want to
Like,
talk
we
about
ain't-
that. Like,
The relationship, it done, the ship done sailed and went all the way south already. What are you talking
yes,
about?
or the maid say, oh, I see you acting funny now, or it's like,
Oh,
dude,
yeah, no.
I gave you a chance to love me the right way, and you didn't do it.
You
So
do it.
I'm just gonna have to
Life
figure
goes
it out.
on. Life goes on. It's all love, though.
Yes. So when it comes to love, do you have like boundaries, like certain things that you set into place to where it's like, okay,
I think I'm still learning my boundaries, honestly. I think that, I've learned to love myself so much. Like, I promise you, like, so much, to the point where, you know, I don't even care about getting cute. Like, I don't care who I'm in front of, where I'm at. You about this that mean to say I'm homeless 97% of the time. That's me. And I'm like, I'd be so confident in that. And for so long in my life, I never was confident. Like, I always felt like I had to do something extra to feel like beautiful. And right now, it's like I learned to love the hell out of myself. But I was single for so long. I didn't really know what that looked like with someone else. So bringing someone else into my space, I think over the last year or so, I've definitely learned what I like and what I don't like, and what's acceptable and what's unacceptable, for sure. So this last relationship it's fairly new. I mean, the end of this last relationship was really new. We just broke up in beginning of December, the end of November. So, and I'm really a reflector. Like, I never want to leave a situation bitter or angry, or, like you said, to the point like, you did this, you did that, and like I never want to be that woman. I've never been that person. So I think I allow my time to reflect. And I'm still reflecting. Like I'm like, okay, what was I supposed to learn from this?
Mm-hmm.
What was I supposed to take? Because a lot of shit has transpired in that year. So as far as boundaries, I think it's important to establish boundaries in every aspect of life, like in friendships and romantic relationships with parents, with siblings. Boundaries are so important because allowing people to overstep those boundaries, putting you in a position to where you're uncomfortable, you're stressed, you're just not yourself. You being a priority goes out the window.
Right out the window.
For real. And when it starts to mess with your self-care, your self-awareness, your worth, there's issues. And that tends to happen when people overstep boundaries. So boundaries, having establishing of those boundaries is so important.
I definitely understand. So with you, previously taking a break from dating for 6 years, with this relationship ending, do you plan on taking another break, or is it one of
Absolutely, I'm scarred.
So, how do you handle that? Like when guys, because I'm pretty sure people have probably tried to take you out on dates, or maybe are you dating right now? Like, how do you kind of, I guess, duck and dot, deflect that? Like, no, not right now.
I think so. Even before I got in the situation I was just in, I was that person. Like, I don't think everyone is worthy of a date. Like, I take dates personally. Like, you're really sharing space and energy and with another individual. And I just don't think you should do that with everybody. Free meal or not. Absolutely not. But right now I have no desire to date in this moment of my life, and I'm okay with that. And I think that I haven't really publicized that, I was single.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, people probably put two and two together lately. But they know now. If they didn't know before, they know
got
now.
an exclusive.
But
she's single.
But I think I'm just chilling. I've always had great relationships with men.
Mm-hmm.
I've always established, good friendships. I get along with men. Like even when I was in the club, I was just in the club and men just want to come and talk about life and get advice from me. And I'm like, I'm okay with this type of relationship.
Like interaction.
That's it. Like I don't want anything more, not right now. And I'm comfortable with saying not right now. I'm not interested. I learned my lesson. No.
So when you are ready to kind of jump back out there, do you do unconventional dating, or how can a man, I guess, approach Stephanie Crosby and actually get her attention?
I don't know, because I think the next person I date, I don't want them to know Steph Crosby. I think that with being Steph Crosby comes a lot of expectations. I think that some expectations are unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been for a very long, every person I've dated, in all honesty. Like in the beginning, my first couple of relationships, they put me really high on a pedestal. It's like, oh my gosh, she's such a lover. She's just going to be love, 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 love all the time. And she's so perfect. And with that, there's no room to mess up.
For trial
and
error.
If you've never been up top on the highest pedal, you wouldn't understand that hurt from that fall. So I think that scarred me a little bit. And then, just again, people have these expectations of you, and either they'll try to, you Steph Crosby, but I ain't about to sweat you. I ain't finna, they try to, try to humble you in a negative way, sort of, or they try to, or they take it, they try to use it to their advantage. So I think that I would prefer someone who didn't know me. Don't know the social media Stephanie, don't know the gems I be dropping, the love I be sharing like nothing. I just want to hopefully find someone eventually, not now, where, we're just learning each other.
Right.
Or someone that can separate Steph Crosby from Stephanie.
Right. I'm just Stephanie when I'm with you. All that other stuff, don't even think about it. We're not intertwining the two.
So I don't even know how I would want anybody to approach me, because I just don't want nobody to approach me
right now. Don't think because she said she was single on here that means hop in her inbox, or if you see her out, try to you can speak.
I'm friendly. I'll give you a hug.
That would be hard to compete with. That would be hard for a man to compete with, as far as the Steph Crosby and trying to separate the two. I mean, just be honest.
I
mean,
know,
it's
and
very
that's why,
difficult.
that's why I don't know. That's why I'm like, I have no desire right now because I don't even know what that even looks like.
So you gotta get swooped down on like Eve got swooped down on like some prince from
She needs a print like literally
some dude from some other spot.
Cinderella story.
Right.
Maybe. Who knows? But no, I don't know. God's still working on me.
Mm-hmm.
He's still working on my soulmate. And I'm okay with the waiting game. I'm okay with being patient right now.
So what do you feel about like publicizing relationships? Like, are you kind of like gonna like, is it like you're more so let's just keep it private, or like if they see us out, they see us out, or do you like to kind of like show your significant other?
I feel like, you know what? I feel like society has made it a norm to hide who you're dating, not necessarily to keep it private, but I think out of just like the fear of being embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Not, oh, I don't want you to know because I don't want you to know my business. It's more so like if I post you, I don't want nobody in my inbox. I don't want fake pages watching me trying to figure out. Yeah, it's really like I feel like we live in fear. So I think I'm okay with every now and again, not something super extra where I'm posting you all the time,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to be in a space where I'm comfortable to post you if I want to, and know if I don't want to. But society has definitely instilled fear into us posting publicly because you just never know who else is posting publicly in those close friends.
Listen, I was gonna say Instagram and social media is so shady. Like the close friends thing, the hiding the likes, the vanishing, the being able to unsend a message. It's like, dude, you guys are helping people cheat for first and foremost.
That's what they're promoting.
You're helping people not really keep it real with themselves, because it's like, that's the thing. I'm the type of person to where I am independent. I do like doing stuff for myself and on my own, but I don't think I will ever be so independent to where I feel like I don't need a man. Like you said, you being in a situation where you're not ready to date, I get that. But when women try to like, I don't need a man, this and the third, I personally feel like, what's wrong with having a good man around, or what's wrong with having a partner?
I can't wait.
I would prefer to come home and my man is there, or if I get off work, or
and the
I'm
food
done,
is cooked and the dishes are no.
And men, you have to understand, like, I'm not a gender role person at all either. Like, it's okay if
I'll take out the trash because I ain't cooking.
And I think that's what I was so excited about with my last situation. Like, he knew how to cook, he knew how to clean up, he knew how to wash clothes. It's like, this is nice, because it's like so many men that I dated before, I'm the one cooking all the time, I'm the one cleaning up, I'm washing clothes, I'm telling them like, oh, you should do this, that, and the third. Like, dude, I like being Superwoman, but sometimes I don't want to be Superwoman.
No. Just being submissive. Like, I got to be Superwoman to everybody else. Let me come home and take off my cape.
Yes.
And just be a woman.
Yes.
How much of that is innate and y'all don't realize it? That energy of being like the Superwoman, and not, y'all feel like y'all being submissive because y'all less submissive than y'all normally are, but y'all still being like boss lady.
You know, and that's what I found out in the last situation, you know, where like I am who I am, but I am open to learning like that. But you have to understand this is very new. If for me to take a seat back, I have to be really, really freaking comfortable and confident in your ability to lead, because but I never want to be a woman that's, I don't want to be in control over a man. Like, I honestly don't want that. Now, if I feel like I have to be, then that's a different story. You know what I'm saying? I really honestly don't want that. Like, to try to save the world every single day of your life. You've been doing it for so long, you get tired.
Be burnt out.
Yes, like you just wait for that moment where you can just be, let me be submissive.
I feel like there are some of y'all out there, I'm not saying y'all, but some of women out there who don't want to be, but can't help but be, and create the energy that you want to be, the savior.
Give me an example.
You want to be submissive, but there's a part of you that is kind of a micromanager in the sake of, all right, I'm going to let you do what you do, but I'm going to question everything you do to make sure you're doing it right all the way through.
Unless I see that if a person didn't show and prove. You know what I'm saying? Like, if me personally, I'm not naturally a micromanager. Like that's one less thing off my plate. In all honesty, but I can see that like if there's a lack of trust.
Mm-hmm. I'll even go a step further. Not just a lack of trust, but just so persnickety about something that you want it a certain way, but yet you still want them to do it, almost waiting for them to be like, that's not the way I want it, kind of thing. It's a kind of a setup kind of thing. I feel like I'm speaking almost personally right now, but
You know what? Shout out to the women. I wouldn't say it's a setup. I say we're learning something we're unfamiliar with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for both parties, it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
In all honesty, and I feel like that, like, communication is such a huge part of relationships. If as her significant other, as a man or as a woman, if you feel like she is giving you a task and then over your back while you're doing it, that's something you should communicate, because she may not even know that it's happening because she's so used to moving that way. You know what I'm saying? So I think communication is a huge part in just,
which opens up a whole nother door, because you have to be open in that communication to receive
you
it,
do,
because some people don't receive it well.
And I feel like a lot of people, and my friend says this, my really good friend says this all the time, a lot of people are afraid to have hard conversations. So many people put it out there and say, you know, tell me if I'm doing something wrong, or tell me if it's something that you don't like, or tell me it's something that you don't agree with. But when it's time to actually tell that person, like, hey, I don't really necessarily like that, a lot of people shy away from it because they don't want to deal with the conflict of possibly getting pushback, or that person feeling away afterwards and thinking like, okay, are you attacking me personally? Or then maybe acting funny afterwards. Well, I just won't tell you anything, or say like, no, I'm communicating with you. So I feel like a lot of people say communicate, but when it comes down to communicating, they're not doing it. So it's like, make sure you have that open like line of communications. In relationships, to me, take a lot of patience. I think a lot of people want things to kind of happen right then and there, or to change overnight. But it's like, dude,
I didn't get here overnight.
Listen. And relationships, I feel like, are things that are always growing, they're always blossoming, and they are always changing. Just because you like something when we first met, I may have had different experiences at work or with friends or with family to where now, a couple months later, that's not kind of what I enjoy anymore. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that as well. Like, you have to grow with your relationship. Everything is not going to stay the same.
100%.
Things are going to always continue to change. And I think a lot of people expect who they met in the beginning to be who they continue to go with. And it's like, no.
If you don't grow in that relationship, you're going to grow apart.
Listen, and y'all going to be hating each other.
Listen, that's the worst place to be, and to be stuck with someone you used to love and trying to get back. Yeah, and it's like the growth is different here.
Listen,
that's a really sucky place to be in.
Or even falling out of love with somebody to where it's like, I just don't feel it anymore. And it's like, how do you break that to somebody? Like, have you ever fallen out of love with somebody before?
Yeah. But I don't break the say anything.
You don't?
No. I wait till they leave me.
Why?
I've always been that way. I don't know. I honestly,
she loves love.
I do, and y'all, in all honesty, like, I've never left anybody. I've always been dumped. And that's not a bad thing. I was wondering what the sound would be. No, it's not a sympathy vote, and nothing for sympathy. But I always, I never leave. I don't know how to let people go. I don't know how to leave things, whether it's a job, whether it's a person. Like, I feel bad, so I wait until they leave me.
Like, they kind of do it for you. Like, okay,
yeah, and it's like no hard feelings. But it still hurts when it does come. Like, okay, well, I'm leaving. Like, wait a minute. Let's talk. Wait, why are we leaving? Even though we know that it's over, I just have I have abandonment issues, So when I do get someone and we bonded and we're kicking it and it's love there, it's hard to be like, okay, wait, because I've seen so much inconsistency in my life. It's just like, I want you to stay around forever, so don't leave me. I'm not gonna leave you. I know this is a messed up situation, but don't leave me.
Right.
But that's unhealthy, and I know that. I know it's really unhealthy and it's damaging. And anybody I've ever hurt by staying in situations longer than I should have. I apologize publicly, and I still love y'all.
See, look, she's a and that's the thing. I think accountability is big too. Even when things do end, like, cause I have not always been the best girlfriend. And I can say that and be honest with it. I've done some shit to people to where people are probably like, no, don't date her. Nope, it's a hard no. And then there's other people that are like, dude, yeah. I mean, I'm
Like what? I don't think I've ever done anything that'd be like, they finna destroy me.
one thing that I've done, and I actually cried when I did it.
Oh
I
Lord.
cheated on somebody before. And like I've never been a cheater. Like I've never cheated. I've never thought about cheating. I've had times to where I felt like you would be mad as hell if I did this to you, but I never acted on it until a situation that I was put in and I felt like, okay, I don't want to leave, but I want to give you a taste of your own medicine. And the crazy thing is I ended up telling the person I did it probably like a year later, like, yeah, I cheated on you with such and such. And I felt bad about it. So that's why I'm telling you now, because they did something to me and I kind of like got on their ass about it. And I had to think about it like, but you've been hiding this secret and you didn't get caught. So how are you a pot calling the kettle black? But that was one thing that I did to that person. And I felt so bad. Like I literally cried afterwards. Like, what did I just do? Like I felt horrible.
And you did it strictly because you were trying to
I
get
was
back.
tired. Yeah. I was like, you know what? You out here.
But see, Joe Budden, shout out Joe Budden. That's my favorite rapper. So he ain't making music no more, but he's still my favorite rapper. But he got a line. He said that cock was inserted in you. How could it get me back? And I'm like, you right. Like he like you the one getting miles ran. You know what I'm saying? So ever since I've heard that line, I'm like, you right. And I've always moved in my own space. Like, okay, you doing this, God gonna get you because he don't play about me. I'm gonna continue to move in my own energy. I'm gonna keep moving in my own energy.
And I think after I did that too, because it's like even with friendships that I had to where people have like drugged my name through the dirt or just acted like just spent the whole situation. I've learned, especially over the years, I don't really speak out anymore because it's like I'm at the point to where people who meet me will know. Like they'll have conversations with me. We'll talk, we'll discuss things, and they'll know like, okay, what you just said about her kind of don't add up with the person that I'm meeting. So that can't be all the way 100% true. So I more so learned to let my character speak for itself at this point.
And it will.
And just stay true to myself. Like, okay, I see it. I hear it. I know it is what it is. Like, God bless you. I'm going to still wish you the best, but you know that ain't how that went.
Yeah. No, the whole Jay-Z line, people from a distance can't can't tell who's the fool. And you arguing back and forth or trying to, um, shed light on why your situation or why that situation isn't you. I've even with work, I'm always mindful and I think of my brand. I think of Steph Crossley, priority. And anytime I have and there's been times where, people have tried to come for me. And I always I respond, I type something up. I just probably wouldn't post it, like just to get it out there. Then I'll think back and then I'll reflect. And then, I'll go into like how I want to respond. And at the end of the day, your character does speak for you. I think that me personally, I've been consistently who I was for a very long time, like a very long time across the board. You got to understand, I've been in different rooms, hundreds of different rooms with different type of people. And I've always been consistent with who I am. So I would never sit there and argue with you about who I am.
Yes.
Because it speaks for itself. There's no point in going back and forth. Pick and choose your energy. That's something I would never put my energy into.
Something negative. Like, I'm going to let you do that by yourself.
And I ain't gonna lie, it gets, it definitely gets to you sometimes. Like, she said what? Oh, hell no. Tell her to run that back.
Be fuming.
Yeah, and that's reality. Like, I grew up with the worst temper. You couldn't even look at me wrong without me wanting to fight you. You know what I'm saying? Like, the worst, absolute worst temper. And it's still there. I've just learned to live with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? To pick and choose my battles. But it's definitely there. 100%.
Yeah, so y'all don't be pushing people buttons, okay? Okay.
That's a P you don't want to push.
So what would your idea of like the perfect date be? Like something that you enjoy?
I think a perfect date would be me and you. I don't even know. How y'all thought I was about to say something smooth? I don't even know, honestly. I like to have fun. I like to, go somewhere we can. I'm a shit talker. I like to go and let's go back and forth. Let's go to Dave and Buster's and play some games. And you focus on me, I focus on you. Let's put our phones up. Let's enjoy the moment. Like just something cool like that. Nothing that gets you stuck and uncomfortable. Like we have to talk for so many hours. Like I don't want to sit and talk to you for 2 hours. I'm sorry. I can sit on the podcast and I can do that for hours. But I don't want to sit and talk to you for a couple hours. Let's go have fun and just get to know each other in a different light. I want to go somewhere where I don't have to get super dressed up and bougie and classy. Not on the first date. I just want to have fun.
Chill.
Yeah, I just want to have
relax.
Laugh. Like let's laugh. I love to laugh. That's really the way to my heart. Get me giggling. And who knows? I might be in a relationship next week. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
So we all, as women, we talk about all the time. I know me and my friends, if you could build a man, hypothetically speaking.
I don't even want to set myself up for that failure.
It's it's just a little hypothetical.
Yes.
If God was like, you know what?
Yes.
I'm going to give you an opportunity to build a man.
You listening to me. And that's so, you know what? I'm going to say this in prayer because my phone just reminded me to take a moment to pray. So maybe this is what God want me to pray about. So let's talk about this man we're gonna build. I would say a man of great character and integrity. That's rule number one. Like something like that's a character trait that you must have. Like who you are when I'm not looking, who you are when your friend's not looking, says so much about you. Tall, y'all know I'm 5'11".
Yes.
So give me a little bit of height. Ooh. Because me with heels on, I don't want to be looking down on you. Then you think I'm punking you. And now we got those issues going. That's an issue.
Shorter men are sometimes insecure when it comes to tall women.
Yes. Someone who loves love and not afraid to put his ego and pride to the side. Someone who is just a good person. Like, I don't even, like right now, I'm just looking for a good person. Like who you are to your mother and your father, who you are to your friends, how you care for them, who you are to your children. Because I'm not opposed to dating men with children. But how you are with them, whether you're taking care of them or not, is so important. And you got to be ambitious. Got to have your own something like a job or business. And he has to be supportive.
Okay.
Like 100%. Like he has to, like you can do your own thing, but make sure, because I'm gonna be doing my own thing too. Just make sure you support me too. And then he gotta be all right looking, I guess. I'll throw that in there. He gotta be all right looking.
I was gonna say a lot of people think I'm cliche. Well, of course my friends know. And it's weird. I don't date for looks.
I've never dated for looks.
And a lot of people will be like, I've gotten a question like, what you doing with him? You're like, bro, I'm not dating for looks. Like the men that look, I guess, like the idea of what people feel like you should be with, those be some of the shittiest of people. Like, I don't have time for you taking longer to get dressed than I am. I also don't have time for you to be acting like you're God's gift to women. No, it's a hard no for me. Like, as long as your personality is good, and we kind of compatible, I don't care what nobody else think about you. As long as you're attractive to me, it is what it is.
And that's just what it is. And I 100% am with that. 100%. Be a good person, man.
Yes.
Be a good person. I can't stress that enough.
So for all the viewers out there, she described the producer of What's Up, Bree.
That's Tommy, y'all. Y'all know y'all always see the voice. I get a couple weeks ago, I let y'all see the face to the voice. That's Tommy.
Yeah, that's how y'all get. I'm just not tall.
He's okay. Like he's a good height. He's not 5'4" or nothing like that.
5'10" and a half. So. I guess I'm 5'9" without shoes. So. All right. And I stopped wearing heels anyways after the pandemic. I walk like a man in heels. Like it's horrible. Like
I thought about that though. Like when club days going out with Bria and stuff and hosting.
How were we in heels?
Literally the whole night, like shaking and moving,
dancing and shit.
Yes,
standing on couches, walking on cobblestone,
swag surfing on couches. Like I just don't understand. Walking to the, in ice and snow in heels.
It's cold as hell outside.
Now you cannot pay me to wear heels.
No. Give me some sneakers, like
I'm
a boot.
definitely walking like white chicks.
I like a good boot with a chunky heel on it, but
oh yeah, definitely chunky heel, nothing skinny.
the thin ones they just don't work for me. So with you saying that you're open to dating somebody with kids, because I know I get asked all the time and it's irritating. That's why I'm kind of glad I can ask you. How many times do people always ask like, "Are you gonna have kids? When are you gonna have kids?"
Yeah, I think that comes whether you dating somebody with kids or not. If you don't have children, they're going to ask you as you get older. And then for a long time, for women, that's kind of, I tell people all the time, that's very insensitive because you don't know what that woman has gone through behind closed doors in regards to trying to conceive or whether or not they even want children, But that is a question that the Black community specifically always ask.
And it kills me because it's like, dude, when I'm meant to have a baby,
when the time is right,
I will. And I'm picky too because I feel like because I don't have kids, I'll be honest, I don't want kids by somebody that has a bunch of kids. And I don't know if that's me being shallow, but it's like I kind of feel like, dude, if you got like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 kids, why would my birth and pregnancy be that special to you? Like you'd have been around the block a couple times, and this is gonna be my first. So I need you.
But I will say every pregnancy is different.
Yeah.
And I think that again it comes down to that man and how he treats those children and how he takes care of you while you're pregnant and even not being pregnant. Like what is that a sign of? I think that says a lot because let's face it, men can go out and reproduce every single freaking day if they wanted to. In all honesty. So a lot of times men are having kids by people they don't even necessarily know. Like not even a middle name, not even a last name. They're just having sex and a child is born. You know what I'm saying?
So what about a man whose children are grown and is open to having a child with you?
I wouldn't be opposed to it. If the kids are older, only because then at that point I know because 9 times out of 10 the baby of the family will have a village. Mm-hmm. So it's like you'll have older siblings. Mm-hmm. We'll be able to still do family things with each other. So in that aspect, if the kids are kind of like grown, maybe out the house or kind of independent in a sense, I wouldn't mind.
Okay.
But it's just I can't see myself dating somebody to where it's like, okay, you got a 3-year-old, 6-year-old.
Would you date a man with children?
Yeah, everybody I date has kids.
So, what if you fall in love with this man? He treats you so bomb, and he has that 3-year-old, that 6-year-old, and that 8-year-old, and you just happen to get pregnant.
They're like, Bree, we love you, Bree.
See, I've learned you never say what you wouldn't do because God will put you in a position like, what you say?
Right, like
girl, what you say?
I'm telling you,
run that back, Bree.
A year from now, if I
run that, we gonna run this episode back. Let's live on camera. Run. What you say? Run that back, baby. What you say now?
So let me retract what I said.
Anything is possible though, because the reality is our age.
Yeah.
There's not too many men, good men, who are without child.
Yeah.
Now whether or not they're good fathers, and I always see, for me personally, I always look at a man and how he parents. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the most attractive things to me. Because, and people think like, you see the post all the time, like, oh, I'm single with no kids, team, no kids.
Right.
I'm like, okay, yeah, so what? Because the person with a child has demonstrated so many character traits that I've never, ever once shown.
True.
And it's so many different things. Like I admire about mothers. I admire about fathers that are active and involved, and they found someone to teach them and show them unconditional love. So I know you have it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I'm watching you demonstrate that. So I know that the possibility of us, learning and growing together is there. So that's why I'm like, if you're a good father, that's a turn on to me. I love seeing good fathers. And I think a part of that comes from the lack of father presence in my life.
What Steph is describing is the producer of What's Up, Bree.
He is so funny, dude.
Yes.
But yep, I've always dated a man that has had either a child or maybe 2 at the most. And I love kids. Like my friends' kids, I'm very active with them. I love my nephews. Like kids are fun, especially when you can give them back. Mm-hmm. So it's like
Definitely when you give them back.
So it's like, yeah,
you want your mama now?
Like, oh, you want to go home? You tired of playing with TT?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I've definitely, and it's so weird because everybody's like, you're so good with kids. And I just like, I haven't found like, I just need, and I think another thing too, if me and that person don't work out, I need us to have a healthy co-parenting situation.
Oh, that's
I don't want
number
us
one.
beefing on social media. I don't want us beefing about
I don't want us beefing
finances with the kids.
in private. I don't want to be beefing at all.
Listen, because it's like I don't want to raise my child in an environment to where they're seeing us argue or we're attacking each other, or I'm at the house and they're with me and I'm on the phone talking shit about their dad. Like, I don't want to do that. So I think that was my biggest thing too. Because it's like I've had opportunities where I could have had a kid and situations like that, and it's just like, no, this probably ain't the way to go. So yeah, definitely had to figure that out.
Yeah, and it'll come. It'll come when it's supposed to.
It will. It will. It will. So, last question.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
What are Stephanie's priorities right now? And outside of family, friends, work, and God, what are your priorities right now?
My top priorities are one, to be extremely healthy. Like, I can't stress that enough, and that's just me monitoring like what I eat, how much sleep I get, what I'm feeding my mental, because life does come at us really fast, and situations do come and take us from A to B really fast, and we have to figure it out, and sometimes we can be drained from that. So just making sure that my energy doesn't go into a space that it doesn't belong. So that's number one, just like my health, physically and mentally. And then second is my business and growing my business even more. So I'm always thinking about, what's happening next? What can I do next? How do I expand? Who do I collaborate with? How do I improve my customer service? How do I, my creativity? What does that look like? And even with, the Steph Crossley brand, because I think priority did come about, and it just like,
took off.
Yeah, it like came, it was like, Steph Crossley, who? And now I got to come back like, who is Steph Crossley? Let me show you. I feel like that's the space I'm in right now. But, I took a year off. Really 2 years off with the pandemic, of hosting and doing events and, just being who I came into, this industry as. So getting back to Steph Crossley is a huge priority for me. Shout out to March and Women's Month, because I do plan on doing. I haven't released this yet, but for the month of March, I am going to open my calendar and my schedule for 5 different women, and to assist 5 different women in some capacity. So whether it's hosting an event, motivational speaking, mentorship one-on-one at no charge, I feel like that'll be my contribution to women, to the month, and just getting back active into what I'm doing, because I think I'm pretty good at what I do.
Yeah, for sure.
Humbly stated. So really, those are my top 2, without, God and family, and what else you say? And friends. Without excluding those 3 things, those are my top 2 priorities right now, for sure.
Okay. So tell the people where they can find you, like socials, where the shop is. I stopped in there today and I picked up some cool gear. I love my hoodies. They are definitely comfortable.
Y'all come
and when y'all see me, y'all see, like I said on Instagram, this is the type of P I'm pushing. I'm pushing priorities.
What it is. We're pushing priorities. We're pushing our personal priorities, business priorities, just priorities all around us. And shout out to you for the support. Shout out to everybody for the support, whether it's the Steph Crossley brand, whether it's the Priority brand. But you can find us on Instagram at the Priority Movement. That's on Facebook and Instagram. That's where we post most of our stuff. If you're not subscribed to the website, please do so. You might get a gem or something motivational in your inbox every now and again, or, a really bomb coupon. I do try to use my platform as positively and as productive as possible. So subscribe to stephcrosley.com. You can shop at stephcrosley.com. And that's all I got. Thank y'all.
Well, thank you so much for coming out and having the conversation, and opening up and discussing things with us. I enjoyed it. I couldn't wait to have you on.
Period.
Yes. So
thanks for having me.
Of course. So that is all we have for tonight. Thank you, everybody that tunes in every Thursday for What's Up, Bree. You guys, this is the second to last episode. So next week it will be the finale of this season. We coming back bigger and better though. So I got some things in store. We're gonna definitely revamp and rebrand. So again, thank you for tuning in tonight. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next week.
Peace.
Bye.